So welcome to the Quest for X Part 2. This is Denise again.
And this is Jackie again.
And in our first video that maybe you already watched, maybe you didn't, these are all kind of a little bit standalone, but in the first video we talked about why we're doing this. In this video, we want to talk about what all is available on this site for you to find. So there's so much information here, and our intent is that in this sharing networking community, it's going to grow exponentially every day because remember, it is a user contribution system. So people from all over the world are going to be contributing their ideas, their thoughts, their suggestions for what works, their comparison data, all of this stuff into this website for you to find and capture and keep as your own. So we really hope that it'll really be a sharing spot. And how can you find what's here? There's numerous ways. First of all, if you go up here to this search the knowledge bank, you can just go exploring. If you're looking for something specific, you can enter a particular search term. You can put in a keyword. You can just look for whatever you want. We also have the system set up so that based on your user profile and what you've looked at before and what you've collected before, the system will say, hey, I think that Jackie would be really interested in this.
You think?
And it will put a little gem in your gem bag. And so you see your gem bag right here. And when you click on your gem bag, it will pop up and it will show you what's in your gem bag right now. And you can see that they're all segmented by different types of treasures. So in this case, Jackie could go exploring 7 different emeralds or a couple different rubies, some aquamarine, some topazes, and we're going to talk more about those things in a little bit. Now you may notice that your gem bag is also down here in the bottom in your Explorer notifications when you land on the home screen, because we wanted to make sure that you were really able to find that very quickly and very easily. There's also a way that somebody can send what we call a message in a bottle. So if you have somebody that's specifically a person rather than the system generating something that may be of interest to you, you'll get this message in a bottle from another Quest for X user saying, hey, I found this and I think you might be interested in it. So you might want to even look at those before you go on your search or before you go into your gem bag to see what's there, because these are things that people have personally thought may be of interest to you. Now you'll also notice over here on the right-hand side of the screen, opposite the Explorer notifications, is this quote for the day. And that will change on a daily basis, and you'll see that it's a pearl because we also call it pearls of wisdom. The quote of the day today is down in that little scroll, but it's also up here at the top, and it's archived there. So if you see a quote and you really want to keep it, you can go up here into the quote of the day and see all the old ones. You can also search them, and you can save them into your treasure chest too. So what happens when you find something interesting?
Well, let's go find something interesting.
Let's go find something interesting. So for example, and we're going to go through each of these menu options, but let's look first at the emeralds. These are the examples. These are what we refer to as a picture in a paragraph. So this may kind of remind you a little bit of Pinterest. You may find something here that is of interest to you somewhere on this screen, and again on the live site these will change all the time. They won't be repeated from one row to another, but you can go here and you can click on something, and in the next video we're going to be talking more about how you save something that you find of interest onto your own personal treasure map. So the first thing that you do before you save anything though really is to create a treasure chest someplace where you want to put it. Each registered user subscriber to the site will have My Treasure Map. If they're a member of an organization, there will also be an organizational map. But we want to look first at your own personal treasure map. So when we go to the treasure map, you'll see that you can zoom to different levels in that. But when you zoom in, you'll start to see these treasure chests. Now, the cool thing about the treasure chests is they're your own. They're very personalized. You get to place them. You get to name them, you get to fill them up with all of your treasures, and then you can find it again, because you can also search just your treasure so that it's really easy for you to find. So you'll see these X's on your map, and again we'll go into more detail about this later, but when you zoom in you start to see the treasure chests. You can open each individual treasure chest and see what all the treasure is, but everything is safely buried until you decide that you need to open it, that you need to get into it, and that you need to find it so that you can use it. So we want to talk through a little bit about what's on these menu bars. And first we're going to go through the bottom part of the menu bar. And because these are really the gemstones that we're expecting that you would find. So again, this may remind you of Pinterest working across these, but the Ex Libris section are books and white papers and articles. We're going to be producing a newsletter, so there will be an archive of those that you can look through to find things of interest. Now, some of these, because of author agreements and everything else, these are actual books, not physical books that would be sent to you, but ebooks to download. So some of these, there may be an extra fee, but many of the things that are on here are really intended to just help to grow your knowledge. They will be free of charge. Again, it's really up to the author of the book whether there's a charge for anything there. Now, you may notice across this bottom row that one of these things is not like the other. The expand button here actually has two different gemstones associated with it. That's because, keeping your best interests in mind, we know that sometimes you want to watch a video and sometimes you just want to listen to it. And if you just want to listen to it, you really maybe not be wanting, if you're on a mobile broadband or some mobile device, you might not want to use your data to have a video playing if your device is sitting next to you in the car and you're driving and you just want to listen. So all of these things are either videos or audio only, with pretty much most of the time duplicated content. So we put them together under this expand your horizons, expand your knowledge. And you can either get an audio only, which would be the rubies, or you can get the aquamarine, which would be the audio video. The examples we already looked at, they're our personal favorite.
Absolutely.
These are intended to just be short little snippets, something maybe that's illustrative as an example of a result or a flow diagram or some graphic image of something, and a little brief explanation about it. Many of these are linked into other sites where you can go to find more information. All of us are fanatics about the Baldrige National Quality Program, and so many of these came from the role model practices in Baldrige Award recipient organizations. Mm-hmm. And you can go online to find the full application and get maybe a little bit more content. The next button over, the Examine button, is about comparative data. Right now, at the beginning of our Q4X journey, these are going to be public data information resources that you can use to find comparative information and how other organizations are doing. Eventually, we want to expand this capability so that people can submit their organizational data and we can become a repository so that everybody can evaluate their performance within the context of other organizations that do a similar process, so that everybody can truly identify and validate a role model practice, and that adopting somebody else's way would hopefully lead to an improvement in their own performance. We also have here an amethyst, which is external content. Anything that you're on any other website, you can also bring in, just copy the URL into your treasure chest in the appropriate area and save it as external content. And then that link, as long as the link is active on the other side of the site, will take you back to that. So we really intend this to be a way that you can explore all over the whole internet and still save everything into your treasure chest here where you can find it later. It's sort of like a favorites tab, I would say, but only much more robust and much bigger, because you get to decide which treasure chest you put it in. And when you open your treasure chest, you also see the external content that you've saved. The next one we're going to talk a little bit more about in a little bit. It's the experience tab, which is where we talk about organizational experience with certain key processes on the map and how that worked for the organization. So this particular tab will only be available when an organization is the subscriber. It's not something that individuals would do because the processes happen within an organization. But the organization can become more proficient about these processes and get recognition, and can also be recognized for their role model practices and begin to post their own picture and paragraphs or their own audios or videos or white papers or books about how they do what they do and why that's role model.
And you have a coach that'll be assigned to your organization that'll give you some inputs about some of your practices and how you can improve them, maybe how you can link them together to create more integrated systems and thus more mature processes.
Exactly. The last one is what we call an X poll. And this is an area where periodically there are going to be polls pop up, and users can submit questions that they'd like to have asked as a poll. There will be periodically that we post questions, and we really encourage people to participate in the polls. The polls will only be open for a short period of time, depending on what the topic is. And once the poll is closed, the poll will also be something, the poll results will at that point become fixed, and they'll also be something that you can save into a treasure chest what those results are. So maybe not as scientific as a research study, but again, a good way to share knowledge, to share information, and to be able to readily capture it in a way that you can find it again.
I just get a quick blush of what people are thinking and what new trends are out there.
So again, the closed polls you can save into your treasure chests. The quote of the day from prior days out of the archive, you can save into your treasure chest if you choose to do so. And those may also be offered up to you in the gem bag. So that, again, these are kind of like if you are familiar with Ancestry.com and the little leaf that they have that provides you with a hint or brings you along someplace else. That's what these are intended to be. So they're really intended to be helpful suggestions from the system. Now, across the top row of the menu bar, we currently are right now on the home page, and that's up here, and that's where we're sitting right now. So you can always get back home. It's really important to be able to get back home.
Always come back home again.
Always come back home again. The expectations tab is about the site. It tells you what our mission and vision and values are, a little bit about our organization. The terms of use are under this section. The how to use the site is under this section. If you didn't get to it through this section, this is where these videos are if you need to come back to them and see those again. So our expectations is really what we're all about. The explanations piece is a glossary of terms. So it's just so that we're all on the same page, literally. We're using the same definitions. We're all talking the same language when we're talking about various things. And so if you have any questions, if you don't understand a term, or if maybe you use a term a little bit differently, then you can go here and see how the term is used throughout Q4X at least. This is also an area where you can make a suggestion of something you'd like to see defined. It may become a polling question. How does your organization define this? So again, we really intend this to be a very highly interactive, user contribution, user-friendly site. Exchange ideas is an area where you can actually chat with somebody else. You can post a question. Anybody can open it. It can be within your organization. So it's just an area where you can enter into the networking and the discussion places. Again, you can suggest something to be put out as a poll if you don't want to have discussion with it or dialogue with it. But this is an area where you can chat with others. Not to be confused with this next area where you can express yourself. And this is really the submission form for you to submit user content, and where you can put in a picture and paragraph, you can send a video, a podcast, a link to a YouTube video that you'd like us to put onto the site to share here, any of that kind of stuff. This is where we really encourage you to become a high contributor. And when you become a high contributor, you might be recognized as exemplary.
On the Hall of Fame.
That's right. You would be recognized for your contributions or for your expertise in a particular area. And again, this may be an individual. It may also be an organization. One of the organizations, if they've gone through the process proficiency program and they've really become role model at something, may be spotlighted here too, in which case it would be some kind of free advertising and free recognition for them, really, truly worldwide. We also have links to extended learning, which is online courses that are on a digital platform for you to take a little bit more in depth, maybe about process improvement methodologies, more about the Baldrige National Quality Program, performance excellence in general. And again, this is an area where we really encourage user contribution too. If you have something to offer on here, this is not about the Q4X team putting information out. This is about the world contributing to the world's body of knowledge. And we really intend it to be a sharing site. Then there's also a place that if you can get stuck you can contact us. Because we've come to the conclusion after lots of years and lots of being stuck that there's no value in staying stuck.
Exactly.
And so we really encourage you to get in touch with us if there's something that you need to know, if there's a question that you have, something else that you have a suggestion, something that we could do for improvement. We want to make this a great networking site for people to share and to learn and to make the world a better place. So it's really for individuals. It's for individuals to learn and share and go on their own journey, capture things onto their treasure map so that they can find them later. It's for individuals and it's for organizations so that an organization as a whole can, again, share a treasure map. We're going to talk more about that in the third set of these videos, but they can go on their own journey toward performance excellence and use the role model identified best known practices right now, key considerations for your improvement, and just truly make the world a better place. These diamonds in the experience for the process proficiency program, diamonds may be a girl's best friend, it has been said. But in this case, diamonds are really designed to help your organization to grow, feedback from a coach, and to just shine. So again, the first video was about why we've created this, and some of that, I must say, spilled over into this one too. This is really about what's here, and our third video, which is going to more predominantly feature Jackie talking through it, is going to be about how to navigate the site, how to find those treasures, and how to etch them onto your personal map so that you can find them later.
Important.
So that's what we wanted to express out of this one, and we hope that you'll stick with us for the video 3 and learn about how to navigate the system.
Thanks.